Welcome back to Battle of Bunker Hill 2018. We have our first WFTDA sanctioned game, Twin State Derby's Upper Valley Vixens versus Hartford Area Roller Derby's Wailers. My name's Beautiful Banshee. I'll be bringing you the Derby game this afternoon. And that's right, we are here live in Fitchburg at Battle of Bunker Hill 2018 Invitational. And don't forget, if you want to chime in and say, hey, on Twitter, it's hashtag #TalkToBOBH. That's right, TalkToBobH. And we'll be checking that periodically and answering questions and, you know, just generally spreading the love. So looks like we're going to be getting ready to play in just a few seconds. Here are your rosters for Hartford's Wailers. We have number 1200, Liberty Violets, 13th, Letter Rage, 16, Lady Emasculator, 1942, Mohammed Alicha, who is not rostered for this game, 1965, Pretty Bizarby, 2, Bruce Ventuna, 213, Slamberry Shortcake, 24, Sabotage Sable, 34, Gory Kilmore, 42, Peach Gobbler, 45, Black Mamba, 528, Gingervitis, 6, Jersey Barrier, 608, Rebel Scum, 813, Fearless Nightingale, and 99, Dora the Destroyer. They are bench managed by MILF of Magnesia. The jam is on. And if you are just joining us, we have Hartford Wailers in green, Upper Valley Vixens of Twin State Derby in blue. Lead going to Liberty, oh, I apologize. That is Biohazard Jazz from Upper Valley. Her opposition is Liberty Violets from Hard. Biohazard Jazz in the pack, which is in turn 2. Due to that strong Wailers defense, the jam is called. 2 points up, first blood by Upper Valley. Jam 2 is upon us. We have Voldemorgan for Upper Valley versus Gingervitis of Hard. Pack moving into turn 1, getting split up just a little bit, lead going to Upper Valley. Gingervitis cycled back. Oh no, it is a low block assessed to Gingervitis, having a seat power jam in favor of Upper Valley Vixens. Wailers defense taking the front of the pack. Upper Valley attempts some offense, though not effective. A back block called on Voldemorgan. You know, she who should not be named. I could not resist. So we'll have a little jammer switcheroo. Currently, pack sitting right at the start of the back stretch. Okay, Gingervitis back to the track, pushing it out. Of course, no lead jammer declared because of penalties. So that means we'll have the full duration of the jam. Gingervitis upon the pack, ready to score, picking up 4 points. Oh no, make it 5. Voldemorgan has been released. And in the pack now in turn 4. Pretty Bizarby going for the backwards block. Oh, and Gingervitis off to the penalty box once more. Power jam in favor of Voldemorgan, who spins out of the pack in the turn 1 apex. Add 5 for Upper Valley. Pack keeping it nice and close, right around the pivot line. Jam reaches its conclusion. And a total of 8 points from Voldemorgan, bringing Upper Valley Vixens from Twin State Derby up to 10 to Hartford's 5. And we are 3 minutes, 15 seconds in, heading into Jam 3. Julia Pfeiffer, your jammer on the power start for Upper Valley. Lead to Pfeiffer's credit. Very active, hard-hitting pack in turn 1 as Gingivitis returns from the penalty box, getting caught on up behind the last line of defense. That would be number 88, Pale Raptor from Upper Valley. Pfeiffer calls it, keeping hard scoreless on that jam. So a total of 3 points, taking Twin State Derby to 13 over Hartford 6. Let's meet the Upper Valley Vixens of Twin State Roller Derby, 11-11, Schemstress, 13, Pumpkin Carver, 1984, Mariski Business, 206, Elizabeth Taylor, 2400, Midnight Crasher, 25, Wild Rumpus, 313, Chickadee Wallop, 35, Slamwise Gamgee, 4, Ivory Tower, 484, McChaos, 50, Biohazardist, 513, Julia Pfeiffer, 533, Hershey Bad, 555, Volda Morgan, and 88, Pale Raptor. And back to the action. That is Liberty Violets from Hartford taking lead. And that was Chickadee Wallop, her opposition from Upper Valley. A scoreless jam for both teams, so 14-6 in favor of Upper Valley still, as we are not. Sable adds 4 after leaving the pack. And that was a clockwise block on Wild Rumpus, who played some effective offense for Biohazardist. An 8-8 jam, so 22 Twin State Derby, 14 Hartford at the 23.5-minute mark. It's getting nice and close, so it should be interesting to see how this pans out. And we'd like to thank some of our vendors. So if you are heading here today, later on, because we have a day full of Derby, up until 7 p.m. we will have games. So make sure you stop on by if you are local here at the Wallace Civic Center at Fitchburg State University. Hosted by Mass Maelstrom, of course, the Battle of Bunker Hill Invitational 2018. We have some great vendors in the house, including Turn 2 Skate Shop. They're here today only. They're skater owned and operated by Kissy Kicks of Rock Coast Rollers, and they're located in Portland, Maine. But just for today, Kissy Kicks is here for you. So make sure you check out turn2skateshop.com for your online Derby shopping needs. Or if you are wandering into Wallace Civic Center today, pay Kissy Kicks a visit. In addition, we have another Derby-owned business on hand. We have Unicycle Turtle, who can be found on Etsy, by the way, in case you're not able to stop in here. But today, Unicycle Turtle, run by Goldie Gloves, who is pretty well known. She produces a variety of heat press goods here in the venue. And not only does she have things like t-shirts and bags and many other things that you can personalize, there are koozies, blank koozies. So you could get a koozie for whatever frosty beverage you decide to keep cool. So definitely check that out. So thanks again to Unicycle Turtle. An official timeout to maintain the track is just about done. A 4-3 pack advantage for Hartford, as we have one blocker from Upper Valley in the box. Liberty Violence of Hartford drawn back behind the jammer line by the Upper Valley defense. And that will be Voldemorgan back at it again, taking lead. Voldemorgan, and that would be Liberty Violence picking up 2 points with a quick little apex jump right at jam's end, outscoring Voldemorgan by 1 point. 23 Upper Valley, 16 Hartford. a cheering section. That's a little bit of the ambient noise in the background. Let's see. We have Julia Pfeiffer for Twin State Derby up against Gingivitis. And if you are just joining us, we have Hartford wearing green and Twin State, a.k.a. Upper Valley Vixens, in blue. All of the noises. Oh, there were 2 penalties for blockers on Hartford. Lead jammer is Julia Pfeiffer. Meanwhile, in the pack, Gingivitis fighting a dynamic blue wall. 5 points up for Julia Pfeiffer. Gingivitis attacking the links in the pack in the back stretch, but doesn't seem to have much effect. The jam is called, and Twin State able to keep the jam scoreless for Hartford, 10-0. That takes Upper Valley to 33 over Hartford 16.
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'll keep saying it. Okay, we have about 21 minutes remaining in the half. Sabotage Sable is Hartford's jammer up against Chickadee Wallop, and lead going to Sable. Sable in the pack. It's getting nice and cozy, perhaps a little uncomfortable because of some awkward blocker sandwiches there, but 4 points up for Sabotage Sable, and not far behind her, Chickadee Wallop. Chickadee Wallop coming around, adding additional 4 before Sabotage Sable because she's caught up in the pack. Driven out by number 13. That would be Pumpkin Carver, who ran back but forced the call off. Again, 8-8 jam. We're seeing certain jammer pairings in their fairly tight rotations that are putting up pretty equal numbers. So we'll see if that gap is bridged as Twin State sits at 41 and Hartford at 24. Just under 20 minutes remain in the half. Jam is on. Biohazard just taking lead for Upper Valley up against Liberty Violence once again. Pack keeping it slow between turns 1 and 2. And that was number 533, Hershey Bad, doing the little shoulder dance up against Liberty Violence. Only burned the clock for a little bit, but did what it's intended. Biohazardist is cognizant of her opposition, calling off the jam before any points go up for Hartford. 4 points more take Twin State Derby to 45 over 24. Gingivitis wearing the star for Hartford, and Voldemorgan back at it for Upper Valley. Gingivitis getting recycled into the pack, all because of Pumpkin Carver doing some damage. The Pumpkin Carver picks up a forearm call, so off to the penalty box she goes. Lead status to Gingivitis, and I believe for the first time since she's been out. Gingivitis driven out by 1984. That would be Moriski Business, forces the call off. Oh no, not held scoreless. There were 2 points in favor of Hartford, so a 2-0 jam brings Hartford up to 26 to 45. We have an official review being called by the Upper Valley Vixens. And while we wait, let's introduce you to our officials. Earlier, I know I shouted out the initial crew that we had out there, which I believe is back by now. So we have two different crews today. We have Rubik's Crew this weekend and also Sugar Mayhem Cats. So Rubik's Crew, I know I introduced earlier, but I will run them down once again. Your skating referees are Rhea Culpa, Scooby Drew, Refs in Style, Marquita Sass, Wife Apathic Signals, Tim the Ref, Peterson, and Axis of Stevel. And on Sugar Mayhem Cats, the referees that you'll see are Sugar Daddy, Admiral Mayhem, Dirk Shearer, Pete in the Pool, Chemical Restraint, Big Panda, Rumblebee, and Recordian. Our non-skating officials, we have in this particular game, Hop Along, Toxic Narcotic, Fatal Exception, Gene Knockout, Down in Jersey, Pam DeBear, No Ship, Sherlock, Babel Fishy, Kinky Linky, and WEB Destroys. For Sugar Mayhem Cats, we have Influenza, Shebra, Bradysaurus Rex, Teapotahedron, Rasputin, Molotov Latte, and Shell Cat. Joined by Captain Cupcake, Velocity Raptor, and Meow Meow. So thank you to all of our officials. Okay, and thanks to my producer, Crimson Alchemia, who's been hooking me up with some interesting information. So based upon the game thus far, we're seeing a Twin State Derby with 6 leads out of the previous jams and 4 going for Hartford. But we're noticing that there's a 4-jammer rotation for the Upper Valley Vixens and 3-jammer rotation for Hartford for the Wailers. So it's really interesting to see because at this point anyway, Upper Valley Vixens, their jammers have skated relatively clean, where the Wailers have been a little more penalty heavy. So we'll see how it pans out for the rest of the half, and one only can tell what will happen after they take a little break and come back for the second period. We have returned to gameplay, and Liberty Violence wearing the star for the Wailers, and for Upper Valley, Julia Pfeiffer. Schemstress doing some backwards blocking, doing what she can to slow down Liberty Violence, but it is the Wailers who take lead status. Meanwhile, Julia Pfeiffer really facing her first strong opposition from the Wailers defense. Pushing into the back stretch about the midway, being taken to the line but able to maneuver around. 4 points added for Liberty Violence on our first scoring pass. Pfeiffer goes out of bounds from a big hit from the Wailers defense. And speaking of big hit, that would be 25 Wild Rumpus. Once again, serving a pretty big hit to drive out a jammer. So 6-4 on that last one, and that was in favor of the Wailers. So now Upper Valley Vixens at 49-32 for Hartford. Took about 4 seconds, and that is Chickadee Wallop going up the outside line, just clear, nice clear lane, picking up lead. And a nice quick jam. We have an official timeout.
because it's on the phone saying, crap, I wonder. My signal keeps going out of it for some reason.
And the mysterious voice in the background is none other than Crimson Alchemia, who you heard on the previous call with Also Blanco Fabuloso. And you'll hear him again later today and tomorrow. You can't get enough of Crimson Alchemia on our feed, not at all. But he's also a handy-dandy producer.
Don't do that.
I'm embarrassing him, but that's okay. We embarrass ourselves enough. Why not embarrass our friends? So if you are watching right now from home, make sure that you check in on Twitter with hashtag #TalkToBobH. I'd love to hear from you. And fun fact about our officials crew, when I mentioned how we have the crew, the Rubik's Crew, and then also Sugar Mayhem Cats, I was told, based upon the notes provided by Coconut Chanel, that Rubik's Crew, they selected their crew name, but Sugar Mayhem Cats, they may be unaware of their crew name, or it may be something else entirely, but it was assigned to them, so they spoke or didn't speak so they could forever hold their peace. But something not peaceful, the game that is back on the track, Biohazard Jess versus Sabotage Sable. Lead going to Biohazard Jess. Add 5 for Upper Valley. Oh, Biohazard just being taken down to the infield, but still picking up 5. And we have 1 blocker for Hartford off to the penalty box. It was a 10-point jam for Twin State Derby, taking them to 63 to the Wailers 32. Just under 14 and a half minutes remain. We have an official timeout for track maintenance and perhaps for some injury, however minor. And we are grateful to have our helpful and capable medical crew on hand. As we know, at roller derby events, being a full contact sport, that it is imperative to have good care on hand. So very lucky and glad to see Sabotage Sable return to a bench of her own accord. And another fun fact, Biohazard Jess has 24 of the 63 points that have been scored for Twin State Derby so far. So great performance right out the gate from Biohazard Jess. And I hear that in the house today, so if you are planning to pay us a visit, you should definitely swing by the booth for roller derby merch. That's right. You may have heard of roller derby merch. If you haven't, you've at very least heard of Deb Crush. She skates for Ithaca. And for Ithaca, I believe it's Ithaca's League of Women Rollers, if they're still going by that. And actually, quick holler out to the Shocks because they're skating there too. But Deb Crush, nonetheless, is in the house with roller derby merch. And did you know that on her tags for her merch, her photo, her derby headshot is on her, it's like her small business card price tag that's on her merch. Just amazing. I thought that was incredibly creative. Some quick tossing around of the pivot hat for Hartford, trying to figure things out. And the pack advantage in this next jam, at least starting off, is in favor of Twin State Derby. Jam is on. We have Midnight Crasher in blue for Upper Valley, wearing the star. And her opposition is Lady Emasculator. Pretty Bizarre with the drawback on Midnight Crasher. Both jammers in the pack fighting their opposition. And Lady Emasculator hits the floor. A 2-wall of Upper Valley ends up in front of her, but not enough. Lead going to Lady Emasculator. Midnight Crasher about a half lap behind. And upon Lady Emasculator hitting the pack, take it to the lines. She picks up 3 out of the 4 pack points before calling off the jam. So that takes Hartford to 35 to Twin State Derby 63. A special shout out to our sponsors who contributed for raffle items here in the house. I'd like to thank Wachusett Brewery, O'Neill Cinemas, Central Rock Gym, and Treehouse Brewery. There's a link in the Facebook event page for Battle of Bunker Hill 2018 for you to scoop up your very own customized Battle of Bunker Hill merch. Make sure that you check the link, go shop it, because it's only available for a limited time. Get them while they're hot, folks. Also, my quick note from my producer, but I don't think we can say this enough. Rancor rocks. Really, Rancor at Mass Maelstrom is running this feed this weekend. It's doing one bang-up job. Good heckin' job, man. We appreciate it, and without you, this would not be possible. So thanks to this wonderful feed, high quality, and at the low, low price of free $99. We are back at it. Julia Pfeiffer for Upper Valley versus Liberty Violence of the Wailers. The drawback from hard, but a cutting call up against Julia Pfeiffer, meaning power jam for Hartford's Wailers. Liberty Violence still in the pack, lead with, and so lead to her credit. A tentative pack between turns 1 and 2. And Hartford setting up for the pick. They go right for it. Upper Valley did not get away. Let's see if it actually works. And in this case, it did. We have some, shoving your own teammate going on, but it happens. 5 points up for Hartford Wailers, takes them to 40, and Twin State 63. We have 12 and a half minutes remaining in the first half as we head into Jam 16. Of course, power start for Gingivitis and the Wailers. But only briefly. Julia Pfeiffer immediately released. Upper Valley's pivot off to the penalty box, but lead going to Gingivitis. Julia Pfeiffer, maybe a third of a lap, not even, quarter lap behind Gingivitis. Pack anxiously awaiting the jammers, and Gingivitis calls it off, puts up 2 points, is able to keep Upper Valley at 0. Mass Maelstrom Roller Derby would like to thank Bagel Haven for their generous contribution of bagels to feed our officials and other volunteers. They're based in Mashpee, Massachusetts, and provide a whole new bagel experience, offering a wide variety of tasty bagel options, including their new low-carb keto bagels. If you haven't tried them, I highly suggest it. Of course, if you ever are on Cape Cod and can stop by, they're at 681 Falmouth Road in Mashpee, Mass. Okay, lead in this jam going to Chickadee Wallop up against Fearless Nightingale of Hartford. Nightingale able to exit the pack. And a quick jump over Sabotage Sable puts 4 points up for Chickadee Wallop. Twin State currently at 67, Hartford at 42, 10 and a half minutes remain. And for anyone else local, we have Holy Crow in the house in our vendor village. Just beautiful art, design, and evidence of magic. Holy Crow is on Facebook at Holy Crow Art and on Instagram, Holy Crow. For those who are local, they tend to know Holy Crow because they have an appearance at Boston Roller Derby's games and quite the fan base of their artwork. and wearable art, I might add. And they're here today only, I heard. And another beautiful thing about tournaments, you get to pick up merch from all of the different leagues that are here. I stopped by the Upper Valley merch table, and they have some adorable tees, tanks, and even tote bags with their signature fox on it. So I might have to go scoop one of those up. But if you are not able to attend Battle of Bunker Hill this weekend and watch on the feed instead, make sure you reach out to some of your local leagues and support the local roller derby and get yourself some of their swag. A quick jump out the outside line. That is Biohazard just securing lead. Liberty Violence in the pack for Hard, fighting it out against the Upper Valley defense. Upper Valley keeping it slow. Biohazard just sidesteps across the pack, picking up 5 points. Pack still in the backstretch, heading for turn 3. Upper Valley working on taking Liberty Violence to the lines, drives Liberty Violence to the infield, and we had a little collision there in the middle. Oh, we had a low block call against Biohazard, so this means a power jam for Liberty Violence. Oh, no, we've had a star pass to Sabotage Sable, whose pivot hat isn't quite all the way on her helmet, but she's adding a star to it too. Well, yes, we have the hat dance going on in the background here, which is completely off camera. Thank you, Crimson Alchemy. And for those who have not seen CAC's Unsolved Mysteries post in the event page, please go watch it. Go into the Battle of Bunker Hill 2018 event page and look for his post, Crimson Alchemia. Late last night, he posted his own episode of Unsolved Mysteries, Who is Bob H edition. That's right, hashtag Who is Bob H, hashtag To Bob H, Too Furious, hashtag Talk to Bob H. Meanwhile, Sabotage Sable putting up 14 points. Pretty Bizarre giving a hip knock to Biohazard, just sending her to the outfield. Quite effective, though picking up a penalty. 16 points to Hartford, 9 for Twin State Derby, 76-58. And the Wailers, I'm sure, are pretty pleased with themselves being able to narrow that score gap to just 18 points. We have just under 8 minutes remaining in the first half, heading into Jam 19. A team timeout for the Upper Valley Vixens. Let's see what we have on the schedule for the rest of today. Day 1 here at Battle of Bunker Hill Invitational 2018. So this is our 1 p.m. game, of course, that you're watching, the Twin State versus Hartford. But up next, we have our second WFTDA sanctioned game of the day. That would be the Central New York Nightmares versus the PJRD, that's Penn Jersey Roller Derby She Devils. So that's coming up next. And after that, we'll have the Philadelphia Hooligans versus the Quad Fathers of Mohawk Valley Roller Derby. That's at 5 p.m. And at 7 p.m., we'll cap off day 1 with Mass Maelstrom versus Toronto Men's Roller Derby, also known as the Toronto Outrage. So full day of roller derby here at Battle of Bunker Hill. Happy to bring it to you watching from wherever you are right now. And don't forget, we have one more whole day of this tournament. So lots of awesome going on, and hope that you'll be able to join us. And if not, you can re-watch all of these games because they are immediately archived upon completion. Voldemorgan wearing the star for Upper Valley up against Fearless Nightingale. Voldemorgan with lead. Nightingale in the pack, still being held near the pivot line, driven to the outside. That was by number 533, Hershey Bad. Indeed she is. Upper Valley defense at the back of the pack, working on Fearless Nightingale. the Wailers offense going in, trying to swarm. We'll see how effective they can be. Each team has a blocker in the box. Again, Hershey Bad with the drawback on Nightingale. Back into turn 1. Hershey Bad with the hip to the infield. Back to turn 1. Paired with Pale Raptor. Oh, and Upper Valley has decided to go with a split pack strategy, at least for a moment. We have 2 pairs of blockers who have just merged into a cube. And there has been a star pass to pivot Flood of Rage. Hershey Bad going for it again in the turn 2 apex and sitting on Flood of Rage. Hershey Bad, a great source of frustration for Cards Jammers today. Rightfully so, and being quite effective. Hershey Bad, incredibly cognizant of her position in the pack with that drawback. A total of 14 points for Twin State Derby, 90-58 over Hartford. Just under 6 minutes remain. We're headed into Jam 20. They held Hartford scoreless in that last jam. Just absolutely incredible defense on behalf of Twin State Derby. 4-3 pack advantage in favor of Hartford heading into this jam. That's Julia Pfeiffer versus Gingivitis on the jammer line. If you are just joining us, Upper Valley, aka Twin State Derby, in blue, and Hartford, the Wailers, in green. Gingivitis out the gate, snagging lead. Julia Pfeiffer has some time to make up. She's about a third lap behind, but not for long. Stepping by on the inside line, Julia Pfeiffer puts up 4. Meanwhile, Gingivitis still fighting it out against number 2400. That would be Midnight Crasher. 4-4 on that jam. 94-62 in favor of Twin State Derby. Official review being called by Hartford. Oh, and we were given a reminder, a request from our host league, Mass Maelstrom Roller Derby, that if you are deciding to visit the venue during this event and you decide to bring your canine friends with you, you may have your canine friends join you to watch Derby in the bleachers, but they are not allowed trackside. So that is for the safety of all, especially for our fur babies. Crimson Alchemia just asked if he could bring his cat Darwin. I mean, is Darwin a sociable kitty? I would guess so because of you. Yeah, Crim says he is. Okay, I would guess so. I mean, if your cat gets along, yes, he's a big napper. I've seen the photos. If you're not friends with Crimson Alchemia on Facebook, he is a proud cat daddy. And I understand because I'm a proud cat mama. My cat is my only child ever. I have an old man named Milo. He's 14. But I know that's probably not all that interesting. But hey, we have an official review. And until we get some information, it works. Also, if you feel like showing us your cats, or as it says on one of Unicycle Turtle's heat press prints that you can have, show us your kitties, meaning your cats or kittens. Feel free to send the photo over Twitter to hashtag #TalkToBobH. We want to see the fur babies at home. Puppies, kitties, we don't discriminate. Even if you have a hedgehog, it's all good. Okay, we're returning to gameplay. And Crimson Alchemy is on a fact-finding mission to get us some official review information. Sabotage Sable back at it with the Jammer Star. Picking up lead. Her opposition is Chickadee Wallop. Beautiful apex jump from Sabotage Sable. Over turn 1. Pack keeping it slow. Chickadee Wallop back at it the same. So she says, I could do that too. Don't you worry. Sabotage Sable driven to the outfield with a little bit of a slide after taking a quick hit. Cycled back into turn 1. Chickadee Wallop pushing out the pack into turn 2 in the back stretch. Pretty bizarre-y. Going for the backwards blocking. Not enough to keep the points away. Add 4 for Chickadee Wallop. Sabotage Sable has stashed the star. And it appears I've been saying Sabotage Sable, but it's actually, oh, Sabotage Sable did go to the box. I did not realize, so it was a power jam for Chickadee Wallop. Okay, we have a cut call on the pivot, 11-11. That is Schemstress, who had taken the star pass, so she's sitting as the jammer for that cut. Sabotage Sable puts up 5. And Twin State Derby officially over the century mark. They're at 102 to Hartford 71, which just turned into 75, which a quick transition on the turn 4 apex from Sabotage Sable. She makes it look fancy and easy. 14-8 jam in favor of the Wailers. So current score 14-10. So the scoreboard keeps it changing. It is 14-12 on that jam. We're having a hard time keeping up with the scorekeeper. Just bear with me here. So 105-76, still with Twin State on top. It was a 14-11 jam in favor of Hartford. We have just about 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Schemstress is in the box, but the jammer, 1200, is Liberty Violets back at it for Hard. Lead to her credit. Hard's defense in the front of the pack. Oh, and Schemstress back at it. In the pack, pushing up against the last line of defense from the Wailers. Twin State defense slowing down Liberty Violets to the point where she calls it once she sees her opposition. A 4-2 jam in favor of the Wailers. Twin State Derby at 107, Hartford at 80. About a minute and 20 remain in the game. Well, not the game, the first half of the game. And for those at home, you missed our camera test before the game. And they pretty much centered on the puppy shorts. I think they're puppy shorts or kitty shorts worn by Upper Valley's coach with his neon orange suspenders. I mean, that's style right there. And speaking of style, Biohazard just gets out in front, lead to her credit. Gingivitis is the opposing jammer for Hard. Seeing some penalty turnover for Hartford. We have their pivot off to the penalty box after one of their other blockers was released. So the pack, and we have one in the box for Upper Valley as well. It was a 3-0 jam, taking Twin State Derby to 110 to Hartford's 80. 12 seconds remain on the period clock. Let's see if there's one more jam, shall we? Sabotage Sable versus Voldemorgan. Sabotage Sable is able to escape first, however, is not lead. It was a no point, no penalty. But lead going to Voldemorgan, who very wisely calls it off before Sabotage Sable is able to get in the pack and score any points. It does appear that we have reached halftime. However, there may have been a blip on the scoreboard, but in the house, if you can see it, can't really tell. But either way, score is currently, yes, we have arrived at halftime. So Twin State Derby at the half is at 110 over Hartford 80. So that 30-point score gap separates the two teams. I think the real deciding factor will be penalties. Can they clean up the penalties in the second half? Specifically, Hartford seems to have had a lot more traffic. Upper Valley has had their share. But if both teams can keep it nice and clean, it should be interesting to see how it all turns out. Again, I'm Beautiful Banshee, live from Battle Bunker Hill 2018 Invitational, and we will return in about 10 minutes. See you soon. The second half of Twin State Derby versus Hartford Area Roller Derby has begun, or is about to. So at the half, we're at 110. Twin State Derby's Upper Valley versus Hartford's Wailers at 80. Now a 3-2 pack advantage for Upper Valley, and their lead jammer is Biohazard Jets versus Gingivitis of Hartford. Pack moving into the back stretch ever so cautiously, giving Biohazard Jets a knock, but Gingivitis comes into the pack going butt first and knocked down, and yes, that butt first was for Julia Sleazer. It is Gingivitis who breaks the pack, putting up 4 points. Let's see, I believe we have another 4 points. Oh no, we have 3 for Upper Valley and 4 for Hartford, so 113-84 with 29 minutes remaining in the game. And at the half, we looked into the penalty trouble, or perhaps the penalty count. Hartford currently with 23 penalties and Twin State Derby with 15. Interesting thing is that 3 jammers went to the box for Twin State Derby compared to Hartford. Yeah, and then only 1 skater for Hartford is at 4 penalties, Bruce Ventuna. But that is it. So should be interesting how it will compare. And it was an even split, 12 lead jams apiece in the first half. On the track now, that is Julia Pfeiffer versus Flutter Rage. If you are just joining us, Upper Valley Vixens of Twin State Derby are in blue. Hartford Wailers are in green. It is Julia Pfeiffer putting up 5 points. Flutter Rage fighting it out against a 3-wall of Upper Valley skaters. Wild Rumpus and company go for the draw to the line and take Flutter Rage all the way back into turn 1. Flutter Rage coming on up at the start of the back stretch. Peach Gobbler pick. Doesn't seem to be quite effective, but going in again. But Flutter Rage taken to the infield and drawn back by 5:33. That would be Hershey Bad back at it again. Joined by Wild Rumpus. Those two are a dangerous combination. Hershey Bad takes down Flutter Rage, but she does make it through the pack. There is no lead jammer as a no point, no penalty given to Flutter Rage, who hits the floor after bumping into Wild Rumpus. A forearm call. I'll find out for who. And Upper Valley's jammer standing in the penalty box. That's Pfeiffer. Oh, that was Peach Gobbler for Hartford having a seat in the penalty box for the forearm call at the end of jam. So that was a 10-2 jam in favor of Twin State Derby, leaving them at 123 over 86. 26 minutes to go in the game. We have Liberty Violence with the power start, no matter how brief. And Julia Pfeiffer back at it. Gets that open inside lane, making quick work of it. Considering the start in the penalty box, and at 13 seconds, snagging lead jam, not too shabby. Pack pushes from the backstretch into turn 3. Liberty Violence being held by Upper Valley's defense, who loses one to the penalty box. Meanwhile, a brace 2-wall holds strong. Peach Gobbler returns from the penalty box. Oh, it appears we've had a star pass to Lady Emasculator. Jam is called by Upper Valley. 0 points for Hartford, 5 for Twin State Derby, 128 to 86. 25 minutes, 5 seconds remaining. Don't forget, up next, our second WFTDA sanctioned game of the day here at Battle of Bunker Hill 2018. The Invitational, of course. That will be the Central New York Nightmares versus the Penn Jersey Roller Derby She Devils. So it's going to be straight up horrific based on those two names. But back to the track, Gingivitis snagging lead for Hartford over Voldemorgan. Both jammers in the pack. Wild Rumpus and Schemestras doing their part to burn the clock. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Hershey Bad. Pack keeping it slow as it heads into the back stretch. Gingivitis gets the no point, no penalty. A forearm call up against Hershey Bad. So 43 pack advantage to Hartford right now. 10 points so far for Gingivitis. Make that 15. Voldemorgan fighting it out, getting past the pack in turn 4, adding 4 points. A tough jam for both jammers, but Hartford outscores I apologize, guys. Twin State Derby 19 to 4. Still Twin State on top, 135 to 105, maintaining that 30-point lead. 22 minutes, 52 seconds remain in the game. Sabotage Sable lining up against 88. That's Pale Raptor jamming for the first time in this game. We've seen Pale Raptor as a force in the pack. Sabotage Sable snagging lead for Hartford. Forearm call on Peach Gobbler, having a seat in the penalty box. 4-3 pack advantage currently to Upper Valley. Sabotage Sable puts up 5. And 4 points for Pale Raptor. Oh no, that was 6 on the last jam for Sabotage Sable. Four points up. A 10 to 8 jam thus far. In favor of the Wailers, of course. Or as I like to say, the Mighty Whale. Sabotage Sable diving through the middle of the pack. Able to add 4 more. Pale Raptor not far behind. Within arm's reach almost. So able to keep the scoring relatively even. 18 to 16 currently in favor of Hartford on this jam. $18 to 17 officially, and that takes Twin State to 152, Hartford to 121. 31 points separate the two. 20 minutes 45 seconds remain. We are heading into Jam 6. A full complement of blockers on the track for the first time in a few jams. Biohazard Jess is jamming up against Liberty Violence. Liberty Violence in green, 4 hard. Of course, Biohazard Jess and Twin State in blue. Lead going to Twin State Derby. Pack keeping it slow in turn 1. Seeing attempted picks. Oh, there was a cut call for one blocker from Upper Valley. That's okay. As long as it's not their jammer, I think they're okay with that. Upper Valley with the drawback on Liberty Violence. Biohazard just still fighting it out at the front of the pack. But the drawback, courtesy of Hershey, Bad, and Company. Ooh, 5 points up for Biohazard Jess. We lose one blocker due to a forearm, so Upper Valley has 2 in the box, but 1 is standing. Liberty Violence breaks the pack. Pack still keeping it in turn 1 as they did cycle back. Biohazard Jess, but 5 points in total on that jam for Upper Valley. 0 for Hartford. So 157 to 121. 19 minutes and 15 seconds remain. Julia Pfeiffer wearing the star for Upper Valley. Lady Emasculator wearing the star for Hartford. 4-3 pack advantage off the line in favor of the Wailers. Lead to Lady Emasculator, despite Julia Pfeiffer being hot on her heels. Big hit from Pfeiffer up against Lady Emasculator. Lady Emasculator pops right back in. Pfeiffer ends up having to use extra time to cycle back. She gets driven to the infield by the Hartford defense. Meanwhile, 4 points up for Emasculator. Multiplayer block call on Pretty Bizarby. Having a seat in the box for the Wailers. A 9-4 jam in favor of the Wailers. 164 Twin State, 130 Hartford. 17.5 minutes remain. Jam 8 is upon us. Volda Morgan versus Sabotage Sable, a familiar jammer pairing. Lead going to Sabotage Sable. Volda Morgan able to break the pack. There was a clockwise block call for one of our Upper Valley blockers. So 4-3 pack advantage at current for the Wailers. Oh, nope. My mistake. It is 3-on-3 in the pack because Pretty Bizarby standing in the penalty box. And in case you missed it, that was Sabotage Sable going around the outside backwards on one leg, no less, picking up 5 points. Just one of those skaters who's having so much fun out there, makes it look easy. Add 5 to the tally, courtesy of Sabotage Sable. High block call on the pivot from Hartford. Wailers with the drawback as the star has been passed on Upper Valley to Schemstress. $22 points in total from Sabotage Sable to 4 points for Twin State Derby. That brings Twin State Derby to 168 to Hartford's 152. Just 16 points separate the two teams. We have a team timeout called by the Upper Valley Vixens. Now, the last two jams have been huge for Hartford's Wailers because they have picked up 31 points over those last two jams. Absolutely crucial in trying to seal up the score gap and perhaps bring a lead change. We'll have to wait and see, of course, but one never knows. Don't forget our next game. It is our second WFTDA sanctioned game today in day one here at the Battle of Bunker Hill Invitational 2018. That's right, that's Central New York's Nightmares versus the Penn Jersey Roller Derby She-Devils. So that will be coming up right around 3 o'clock. And you'll have the pleasure of hearing my producer, Crimson Alchemia, bringing you all of the Derby action. And then after that, at 5 p.m., we're turning back to MRDA fun. So that's right, MRDA gameplay and sanctioned, of course. Philadelphia Hooligans versus the Quadfathers of Mohawk Valley Roller Derby. And at 7 p.m., closing it out for the day with Mass Maelstrom versus Toronto Outrage. So I just have to share with our friends at home. Crimson Alchemia has s'mores snack mix next to me. I'm going to do the right thing and obviously not eat it while I'm calling the game, but I already warned him that I'm going to steal some of that when this is done because it looks amazing. Of course, our official timeout right now, that is brought to you by one of our many supporters. We'd like to thank Treehouse Brewery, O'Neill Cinemas, Central Rock Gym, and Wachusett Brewery for their contributions to support Battle of Bunker Hill 2018. Four to 3 pack advantage at Jam Start for Upper Valley. We've got number 88 out there. That's Pale Raptor jamming once again. So it seems that Upper Valley decided to change their jammer rotation strategy by adding in Pale Raptor, who takes lead. Her opposition is Black Mamba. I was wondering where Mamba was. Mamba was a transfer from Shoreline into Hartford this year. 5-point grand slam to Pale Raptor. And we have a star pass from Black Mamba to Gingivitis, the pivot. Gingivitis with the star in hand. Upper Valley's defense is wise to the pass. Gingivitis seems to have stumbled just a little bit getting out of the pack. But now she finally has the star on her head. Pale Raptor sees that, calls it before any points go up for Hartford. A total of 14 points courtesy of Pale Raptor, putting Twin State Derby at 182 to Hartford's 152. Yeah, I think that Upper Valley Twin State Derby was getting a little uncomfortable with Hartford getting within that 30-point time, 30-point frame, because they've been able to maintain relatively 30 to 40-point lead the entire game thus far. So now they've done something about it. We'll see what they can do moving on. Liberty Violence with the star for Hartford up against Julia Pfeiffer of Upper Valley. Forearm call. We have on one of our blockers for Hartford. Oh, meanwhile, Liberty Violence cycle back into turn 1, and Pfeiffer getting cycled back by Hartford to turn 1. Seeing a lot of this, the jammers being taken to the lines, but it is Liberty Violence at 30 seconds in, picking up lead status, though not far behind her, Pfeiffer. Liberty Violence hits the pack. 0 points for either because she calls it off. Our first scoreless jam in a while for both teams. Upper Valley is going to start the next jam without their pivot as she's in the penalty box. Sabotage Sable jamming for the Wailers, just cuts right through the pack. Her opposition, that would be number 50, Biohazard Jess, jammer rotation favorite. 4 points up for Sabotage Sable. Biohazard just also puts up 4. So a 3-2 pack advantage currently for Hartford as 2 Upper Valley blockers in the box. Leaves Wild Rumpus and Hershey Bad on the track, doing what they can to help their jammer. Biohazard just able to go butt first right around the outside. Adds 4. Sabotage Sable coming back around. We'll see if Biohazard just decides. Nope, she doesn't interact. Decides to focus on her own points. Sabotage Sable calls it off. A 12-5 jam. 12-9 jam in favor of Hartford. Twin State able to maintain the lead, 191 to 164. About 11.5 minutes remain. Our jam is on and full staff on the track. Your jammers are Chickadee Wallop for Upper Valley and Liberty Violence for Hartford. Lead jammer going to Liberty Violence. Chickadee Wallop able to run out of the pack. Static pack right now in the back stretch. Upper Valley's pack able to catch her and force the call off, but Liberty Violence celebrating that she picked up 1 point at 1 victorious point. 191 to 165, still in favor of Twin State Derby. 10.5 minutes left on the period clock, heading into Lucky Jam 13. Off to a relatively slow start, though we're seeing the jammers being taken to the lines. That's Gingivitis versus Voldemorgan. Voldemorgan able to emerge first, picking up lead, while Gingivitis cycled back to the midway between turns 1 and 2. Upper Valley defense doing their best to contain Gingivitis. Because you know there's nothing worse than when gingivitis spreads, correct? Yes, bad dental joke. I had to. But oh, psh. 2 points up for Upper Valley, 193 to 165. 9 minutes, 15 seconds remain on the clock. And heading into Jam 14. All blockers on the track. All the ones that should be anyway. 4 on 4. Pale Raptor lining up against Sabotage Sable. Sabotage Sable going Gumby style round the outside, picks up lead. Pale Raptor able to break free. Sabotage Sable swirling and twirling around the outside in turn 1, putting up 5-point grand slam for the Wailers. We had a forearm call against 88 Pale Raptor, so that means a power jam for Sabotage Sable, the last jammer that Upper Valley wants against them. Though she also picks up a call. It was a multiplayer block. Okay. Interesting. So, jammer switcheroo real quick. So, Sabotage Sable had put up 4 points. So, we'll see if this takes any sort of break in her momentum. Pale Raptor cuts through the pack, though, hits the floor. Hard attempting to recycle her. Takes her down. Let's see what happens. Oh, Pretty Bizarre off to the penalty box. 5-point grand slam, courtesy of Pale Raptor. Sabotage Sable picks up a back block call and returns to the penalty box. So double power jam opportunity for Upper Valley. Pack keeping it slow and Upper Valley containing things between turns 3 and 4. Really doing what they can to establish control in the pack. Pale Raptor around the outside, so carefully stepping. Add 5. Twin State Derby has now stepped beyond the 200-point mark, and they are 38 points ahead at current. Less than 10 seconds to go on the jam clock. That is Sabotage Sable returning to the back of the pack, and Upper Valley doing their best. Wild Rumpus going for the cut, but did not end up successful pulling it. 2 points for Hartford and 1 for Upper Valley on that last pass. A total of 21-7 in favor of Twin State Derby. They are at 214. Hartford Area Roller Derby 172. So Twin State Derby bolstering their lead to 42 points after the last jam. Currently jamming Biohazardous has lead up against Liberty Violence. A wise strategic choice. Biohazardous calling it off, keeping both teams scoreless. Under 6 minutes remain as we're now at 5:50 on the clock. Jam 16 about to begin. So I mentioned earlier how it would be interesting to see if both teams were able to clean it up a little on the penalty end in order to benefit them. And I think we're seeing that on both sides. So it's really interesting how that quick reset at the half really impacted things. Sabotage Sable jamming up against Chickadee Wallop. Twin State Derby's defense driving back Sabotage Sable in right before the pivot line, actually, and then sweeping out once again. Meanwhile, Chickadee Wallop taken out by Hartford, and a hit from Hershey Bad, able to drive out the skater. Oh, unfortunately, a down skater, and we need a medic out there, but they're getting it taken care of. Jam call due to injury. And we'll give you an update shortly. Just want to allow some time. We have under 5 minutes left on the clock. And again, the score sits at 214 Twin State Derby's Upper Valley Vixens, 172 Hartford Area Roller Derby's Wailers. And again, like to thank our vendors in-house. We have Turn 2 Skate Shop, a skater-owned and operated skate shop based in Portland, Maine, and owned and operated by Kissy Kicks of Rock Coast Rollers. Make sure to check out turn2skateshop.com for your online derby shopping needs. And the best part is, Turn 2 is in-house today. That's right. If you are at home locally, if you're at home, my mic was just cutting out. Sorry, guys. If you're at home and local and you decide to stop in later, today would be the day to catch Kissy Kicks here with Turn 2 Skate Shop, because they are only in-house today. So through our last game at 7 p.m. and after that, she'll not return this weekend. So if you are in need of some derby gear, that is the place to be, Turn 2 Skate Shop, whether online or here while visiting the Battle of Bunker Hill. Also, Unicycle Turtle is in the house, derby owned and operated by Goldie Gloves, producing a variety of heat press goods. And here in the venue, of course, Goldie Gloves at Unicycle Turtle has everything over there, from bags to blank koozies you can have logos printed on, or fun phrases like "put the feelings in the bag," or "don't be a garbage can't, be a garbage can." So you name it, she's got it. All sorts of fun things, including derby themed. So derby themed goods, and of course you could always visit her Etsy shop, Unicycle Turtle.
Yeah, we know who's not because we didn't hear anything.
And currently we do have the house sound silent while we have an extended timeout due to injury. We will have an update shortly, but right now just bearing with us. Thank you. We appreciate it. And once again, make sure you stick around because we're going to have, after the conclusion of Twin State Derby versus Hartford Area Roller Derby, that is, of course, Upper Valley Vixens versus Wailers, we have at 3 p.m. or 3 p.m.-ish, we have the Central New York Nightmares versus the Penn Jersey She-Devils. So that's our second WFTDA sanctioned game today, followed by 2 MRDA sanctioned games. We have the 5 p.m. Philadelphia Hooligans versus Quadfathers matchup, and the 7 p.m. Mass Maelstrom and Toronto Outrage matchup. So we'll be back shortly. Thanks for bearing with us, and hope to be returning to gameplay pretty quickly. We'll be We'll be returning to gameplay shortly. As you may have seen, we did have Slamberry Shortcake from Hartford Area Roller Derby. Oh, I apologize. That was the wrong number. Oh, no, 213. Yep, Slamberry Shortcake taken for medical attention. So glad to see that we were able to get quick response. And we'll be getting back to things in just a few minutes. Thank you for bearing with us, and we appreciate you tuning in to watch Battle of Bunker Hill Invitational 2018. And only, well, just under 5 minutes will remain in gameplay when it is time to go. And after the conclusion of Twin State Derby's Upper Valley Vixens versus Hartford Area Roller Derby's Wailers, we will have our next game, Central New York's Nightmares versus Penn Jersey Roller Derby She Devils. So that'll be coming up. It's supposed to be about 3 o'clock-ish, but we know sometimes we have to be a little flexible on the time. So considering it's 2:59, give us a little bit. Probably about 3:15, 3:20-ish. So getting back at it, our teams are going to take some warm-up laps and be ready to go in just a few, and I'll return shortly. We have returned and gameplay is resuming. Pale Raptor jamming for Twin State Derby versus Sabotage Sable of Hartford. Both teams doing drawbacks on the jammers. It is Pale Raptor who emerges with lead status. Pat keeping it slow in turn one. They were able to hold back Sabotage Sable for a little bit. And despite the efforts of Hartford, Pale Raptor gets through, gets 4, calls it off. Unsuccessful apex jump led to 0 points for Hartford. So after those 4 points, Twin State Derby at 218. Hartford at 172. We have an official timeout for track maintenance. And again, we'd like to thank all of the volunteers who helped make this event possible here at Battle of Bunker Hill. Everyone from Mass Maelstrom and other area leagues who have pitched in, whether you're an official, you are a volunteer helping feed everybody, or you are working security. We appreciate you. Oh, and most importantly, for me, because I'm one of the co-tournament head announcers, I am thankful for my crew of announcers. So the group of voices that are bringing the Derby to you this weekend, I'm grateful for those people because they're pretty awesome. No one else is awesome. Up next, we have another WFTDA sanctioned game between the Penn Jersey Roller Derby She-Devils and Central New York Nightmares. Okay, the timeout has ended. We have a 4-2 pack advantage to Upper Valley as 2 blockers, including the pivot from Hartford, are in the penalty box. Lead going to Gingivitis of Hartford. Her opposition is Voldemorgan. Pack keeping it slow in turn 1. Hartford regrouping at the front. Gingivitis hits the defense of Upper Valley Vixens, is swept to the infield. The call is forced. 2 points for the Wailers. Takes them to 174 to Twin State Derby's 218. 3.5 minutes remain. We head into Jam 19. Pale Raptor versus Sabotage Sable. Seeing a lot of this matchup. Pretty Bizarre with the drawback on Pale Raptor. Sabotage Sable facing some opposition, but she manages to stay inbounds and in play. Doing a quick transition, takes a tumble to the floor, is cycled back by Hershey Bad. Lead jam status assessed to Pale Raptor. Meanwhile, Hershey Bad working the drawback with her fellow defenders on Sabotage Sable. And Pale Raptor with a spin move coming out of contact from Pretty Bizarre, putting up a 5-point grand slam. Sable stashes a star, then hands it on off to 1200. That is Liberty Violets. A pack penalty called on number 206. That would be Elizabeth Taylor for Upper Valley. So 4-3 pack advantage at current for Hartford. Liberty Violence working on the defense from Upper Valley. So far, Pale Raptor has 10 points. Liberty Violence able to break the pack. Not lead jammer. And going to come up on her scoring pass. Pale Raptor calls it off. After adding 3 more points. So a total of 13-0 on that jam in favor of Twin State Derby. 231 to 174 in their favor. And about 1 minute and 15 left on the period clock heading into Jam 20. Gingivitis jamming for Hartford up against Biohazard Jess. It is Biohazardous snagging lead for Twin State. Gingivitis does hit the floor in turn 2. Swept out by 11-11. That is Schemstress. There is a cut track penalty assessed to Gingivitis for illegal reentry. Power jam in favor of Twin State Derby. Pack set up in the backstretch. We have a line set up. Looks like they're going to go for a sweeping pick if needed for Biohazardous. With the aim to clear the inside line, although there are some tough people to move on that Hartford defense. Biohazardous is left to her own devices trying to push it out. But she does it despite their aim to burn the clock all the way down. 8 seconds left on the period clock. Gingivitis is released from the penalty box. A static pack between turns 3 and 4. Gingivitis back at it, cycled back. The jam is called, and let's see, 12 points on that last jam to 0 in favor of Twin State Derby. Currently 243 to 174. We'll await official confirmation, of course. So we are officially 3 games down here at day 1 of Battle of Bunker Hill Invitational 2018. The score was just made officially final. So 243 points to Twin State Derby to 174 Hartford Area Roller Derby. Congratulations to the Upper Valley Vixens of Twin State Derby. And for the rest of you, make sure you stick around. Our next game, a WFTDA pairing of Central New York's Nightmares versus the Penn Jersey Roller Derby She-Devils, coming up next. Give us about 15 minutes, maybe 20. Okay, and you'll see the teams celebrating, doing their high fives. But we'll be back shortly. My name's Beautiful Banshee. Always a pleasure. See you soon.